Hello my good students, welcome back to our War on the Sea Let's Play as of course the Imperial Japanese Navy once again, and today we are of course carrying once again from where we previously left off and just on the road really to trying to get to 300 enemy ships sunk. I believe we've got around 25-ish more to destroy, and from the looks of it, once we get to the strategic view, that's going to be quite clear. That should be very much within our reach, hopefully within this episode. We're not going to approach today's episode with any real particular plan outside of getting to 300 enemy ships sunk, so we are going to be waiting for quite a large American task force to come into us and hopefully actually get a bloody surface engagement with this Yamato that we've got now. I'm really waiting for that. I know you're really itching to see some massive capital ship action there, because we have, of course, mostly been using aircraft and submarines to deal with capital ships up till now, and it's just unacceptable, really, if you ask me. We've got these capital ships out here. You can see here our small arms going off there. That's not to worry. I'm just going to draw your attention to this. It is just a Kingfisher coming out, and that's not to worry there. We can let that pass over actually. We'll just push on in. We might want to source ourselves formation here because I don't really like having a battleship out in a scouting position there. If that drops down, that'd be brilliant. And we can go to the strategic map already, and let's just do that. You can see got a lot of scouts coming off here, don't we? I really want to know where these are coming from. We're missing something here with our scouts. Are we just about guessing that void here? Let's see if we can launch anything off here from Fighting Force 2. Yamato's got 4 Jakes available, and it's disgusting that we've let all of those stay on board of Yamato. So we are going to use that now to our advantage and try and scout this big old void, which we haven't done it previously. And we will launch 1 or 2 more. We're just going to do a very tight few waypoints there, and I'm not entirely sure. I don't really want to have to cycle through all of these planes. I don't think we have just a 360 degree rotating scouts here, so we're going to push that to 250 kilometers. It's quite wide there, so we're going to put another one off as well. We can use all of the Jakes on the Yamato here. We've got some Peats here for when we do go to a tactical battle, and we're going to push this one down to 150, and that will do there some close range scouting as well for continuous support there. We can see we've got 1, 2, 3 cargo convoys about, and of course we do have what we cited previously, I believe a Pennsylvania focused task force over here and a couple Clevelands to escort some destroyers over here, which is rather interesting. We could try and take the Arizona, Pennsylvania over here, but that's the thing, 2 Congos and some heavy cruisers, it's not necessarily a bad trade there, bad engagement for us with the massive amount of torpedoes from the Kitakami there, but you know, there's just the accuracy of our guns compared to AI guns is always a gripe on my side. It's the one reason, it really is the one thing pushing me away from taking more surface engagements. I'm someone who really doesn't like to take losses, really hate taking losses, as you've probably gathered already. And to eat, I know it's only Congos, we do have a couple spare, but at the same time, can they really stand up to these ships? Either way, what we're going to do is try and go for these Clevelands, and if we do accidentally make contact with that Pennsylvania, what we'll do is we'll come around here, start scouting. If we do accidentally make contact with that Pennsylvania, we'll have to take it. We can't back down from that. That will be a very nice opportunity indeed. What do we have on Saipan to deal with these these ships over here? Do have some Emilys and some Bettys. I'm going to launch out actually, even though they're massive targets, I want to launch out some Emilys just to get some more use out of these, rather than simply depth charging everything in sight. We're going to go for the closest ships to begin with. That might actually be the retreating units from previously, but we'll double check. I don't want to let anything get too close there. And of course we will launch out. We do have some Bessies over here. If these are indeed armed with torpedoes, I'm just going to double check on the tactical view. I'm not sure if I've already used these. Yeah, we have already used these, so we do have to return to base over here. We don't have any Mavises because they got shot down. That's why we sent out the Bessies. That's not to worry, they'll recover very soon. We do need to put some more engineering over here, and that's actually pushed me. Where's our minor resupply? We're going to put these supplies over to Pele Liu here. So we do have 61 engineering, more double 61. We have 50 fuel and 1,000 supplies. That's going to be very, very nice indeed to help us out there. So really, that's the goal today. Make 300 enemy ships sinkages, really, and try and catch out these. Let's really bloody go. Okay, so it is indeed the case that the Emily's sent to deal with the northern supply convoy from Saipan is actually the remainder of the retreating enemy task force we focused on in the previous War on the Sea video. So what we're going to do is, of course, just focus one cargo ship over here. Like we've just recently said, and as everyone knows, of course, Emily's rather horrible target. Easy target rather for AA fire because it's so slow. I was saying they're slow. They're going 230 knots. That's pretty damn decent for a flying boat, for a seaplane. We are going to have to reduce that though. So we are armed with torpedoes, and we're going to want to turn into this Arcturus over here. That's the target. Very much a target. Already lost an Emily there, but since we're armed with 2 torpedoes each, let's just go in here. That's not too much of a worry. That's going to be a massive, massive lead again. I can already tell I am going to risk a mangle drop here. Say it's a risk because you know what my aim's like. And just going to adjust my sights there. We're going to have to drop here. That might be too close. Yeah, that's far too close there. Far too close. Oh, it might not be. 2 torpedoes. Would have liked these 4 ones to hit as well. Just left that far too late there. Far, far too late. But we need to increase the altitude and get out. I don't think that's going to sink. Well, critical damage to heavy flooding. It might just flood down. Might just flood down. But I was very worried about the lead we were taking with the automatic drop there. Did not look too healthy at all. We've learnt that from previous mistakes. We'll just have to see here, really. That's all we can say, unfortunately. Just need to wait. Let's go. Okay, so it's looking like we've caught what those scouts are being launched from outside of Guam. Looks like this standard type fighting force. Let's take a closer look. A lot of destroyers. Anything larger? Another Cleveland. Interesting. Is that just 2 Clevelands once again? So it's pretty much an identical force to outside of Iwo Jima here. I mean, certainly something for Nagato to think about, and certainly something for Yamato to think about as well. We are going to move in on that, so let's just come out of there. Yeah, I didn't spot that possible English or Dutch destroyer there. So that's right here. We are going to mark that up, like so. We can move Yamato straight in on that. We know that's not going to try and bombard anything, so just go there. What we'll do is move that towards truck once again, because it's possible they'll try and... I've noticed that patrol routes generally come from the south of the Philippines, and if they don't go northwards over here, they do, of course, just potter around north of New Guinea, comes a truck, and then decide whether they want to go north of truck or towards the Gilbert Islands there. So... it's about that really. We're about to strike some merchant ships over here with some Bessies, armed with torpedoes once again. So that's about that. Let's go. So, a couple of our submarines patrolling around the Philippines have spotted some very cheeky allied supply ships trying to reinforce Manila, no doubt. They shall not make it. We are going to attack them. Unfortunately, this Arcturus is armed with 4 cannon mounts onto it. So we can't surface, unfortunately, because it won't take very much to destroy our submarines, of course. Doesn't look like our solution is going to get much higher at the moment. Visibility is actually not too bad at all with a sea state of 3. We can see a 90% visibility there. We do have a 4C meter depth to hide under for a thermal layer. Not that they have any ASW capabilities here, other than waiting for us to surface, of course. But they won't trick us into that. We're going to fire 4 torpedoes at each ship, just in case 1 or 2 miss. I do want to make sure these go down. We do, of course, have a very large British tanker here. Should be fairly easy to hit. What is the degree lead? That's a -2 lead there, so we are actually going to fire out already. And we'll wait for that. I think, with this one actually being further away, we probably should have fired out with this one first. Not to worry. So that's a -15 degree lead. So that shouldn't be too bad. Very simple. Can't hurt. Yeah, they are coming towards us there. It does look from this particular view that they might be chasing. Our torpedoes might be chasing there. Not even any need really to dive down. Just need to watch really. Fingers crossed both of these hit, because that's quite a waste of torpedoes if we don't hit that. Let's have a look. So, rather unlucky on this Arcturus actually. That did take 2 torpedoes, but one of them was a dud. And of course the other 2 torpedoes are a little too much towards the stern of the ship. They did pass behind it. This British tanker should be sinking though, pretty much submerged as it is. But we can see in the messages over here, in the log, that it's not actually sinking. It's just trying to emerge, I suppose, get rid of the deck board fires by just flooding itself, I suppose. Your guess is as good as mine here. But not to worry. That will be going down. Look at that. Look at that. Let's take a report on that Arcturus, shall we? Heavy to heavy. It's up in the air about whether that will go down. Waiting for these fires to develop, really, and hit a cargo magazine slot, really. Very, very unlucky for a dud there on Japanese torpedoes as well. It's this thing is really taking the biscuit here. Look at that. Look at that. We are going to compress time. There's not much we can do here. Just waiting, really. That's taking its bloody time. Oh dear. Look at that. Look at that. Well, it finally happened. You would not believe that that actually took... I had to wait like 10 minutes for that to go down. Sounding rather impatient, I know, but come on, it took 4 torpedoes and the bow was fully submerged. But not to worry, it did go down. 2 command points. Very minor victory there. Bit of a shame we couldn't get the Arcturus as well. But yeah, just a little point of interest there. Rather interesting indeed. So that was right here. Threatening our invasion supplies, of course. Could, of course, take a surface engagement with these supplies. Now it's just the 1 damaged ship there. But not to worry. We're going to look at hitting this over here. That's a lingering supply ship, I believe. We hit this, yes, there should be an Arthur Middleton, I believe, actually, that we hit yesterday with a couple of torpedoes, but did not sink. So let's try for that. Once again, I do apologise, just bloody cargo ships today again. But you know, slowly, Catch a monkey. If we look down here, 300 enemy ships need to be sunk for sea lanes to be open. And it's a goal we need to slowly work towards. Just take every opportunity we can get. We are currently standing on 276 enemy ships sunk. So it's a slow process, very slow process, but we'll be much better off for it. Of course, we can finally take Manila with that, and of course keep up with our own resource management. Once we do take the 3-time supplies, I think really Manila and Singapore are going to be the main objectives. Of course, Singapore just going to be as difficult as Manila to take, with 2 level 5 bases there. Really, I want to just charge on in and rush down to the Dutch East Indies and such to take those bases. We know Saigon won't be particularly difficult to take, since we did previously take that with only 30 men or so. That's about it really, to be honest. We can pretty much ignore the Gilbert Islands and Solomon Islands. We are patrolling around with some submarines here. We're not really seeing anything, unfortunately. We're really not seeing anything. So it's pretty much a void over here as well. But this is the thing. The milestones are supplies and Manila. And we can't have Manila without those supplies, unfortunately. So we're going to look at getting some supply interception off over here with our light cruisers and such. And that's about it. I do have a Nagaso inbound. We've got the Mutsu coming to reinforce the Guam Defence Force. And we're still hunting down these ships over here, but they are retreating eastwards over here towards Wake Island. We can spot those pesky ships over here. It looks like they're actually coming in for a fight here, so we are going to move a little more directly towards those. That'd be very nice indeed. Very easy battle. We will quite likely lose a destroyer or two, though, having said that, because they do have the Clevelands there and will focus fire. Somewhat unavoidable, unfortunately, unless we just batter them so quickly into submission that that's going to have to be the case, unfortunately. So let's keep going, stop talking, get in on the action. It's going to be a slow process. Well, we've strayed a little too close to Iwo Jima with our Supply Interceptor 2 task force here. Nothing to worry about too much, though. It looks like 3 Devastators here, and we haven't seen these yet. Of course, not quite so good as Avengers, but it's a very nice model on these, actually. Very, very shiny indeed. Very nice liquor paint on those. Very much admiring that, actually. It's very sleek. Not usually a fan of the Devastator model. Usually quite ugly, according to, I'd say. We've got a massive wall of AA here, just turning into those so that we can get our broadside AA onto that. With only 3 planes there, it really shouldn't be an issue. The issue here is going to be making sure we don't collide our ships on our turn here, to be honest. But with 2 battleships here and a good old amount of destroyers, of course, providing a lot of flak, should be rather easy, to be honest. Just at the mercy of our gun's own accuracy there. Just keeping an eye on our spacing there. So watch out. So yeah, we should be straightening up now, really. Don't want to commit to smoke because that will hurt our own accuracy. But I know it's difficult to watch sometimes, but I really also wish that we had something a little more action-packed for you guys. But we've battered the Allies into submission by the looks of it. We have destroyed a lot of ships. It appears that they're running out of options. Apart from these surprise invasion attempts, I've not really got a lot to do. I would have loved to have destroyed a plane by now. This is getting dangerously close. Got to rely on the small arms, apparently. It is now starting to open up. 3 torpedoes shouldn't do it too much unless they go for a destroyer. We don't have a huge amount of torpedo protection on Congos. Now the small arms is opening up. I would really have liked to have destroyed a plane by now, guys. We are slow down here. We're going to take a torpedo because our small arms can't hit the side of barn. There we go. Finally, it comes in when it counts. And all of them down. Very, very nice indeed. Well, I'm glad we showed you that because that was closer than it needs to be. Closer than it needs to be by far. You can see some bombers out here. We can only imagine that they are launched from Iwo Jima. They're long range, so imagine they're more seaplanes, really. Probably some Sunderlands of some such, perhaps. Or Casalinas. That would be rather interesting as well. We can see another supply group coming through here, possibly 6 ships. I'm not going to scout that out just yet. I don't want to keep some more solid sight. Once again, still tailing those Clevelands with our Yamato. But I don't want this to drag on too much, to be honest. So we're going to look for that group out here once again. Try and catch that with our supply interceptors over here. If not, we do have our invasion support and Akagi Hiryu over here to catch those supplies as well. So let's keep going. Alrighty, so we've spotted some more cargo ships outside of Truk, and once again this really is the extent of to what we're spotting, apart from some patrolling groups outside of Iwo Jima, which we have previously touched upon, but they are retreating unfortunately. Not going to be able to catch up with those. Going for some bombs today. Going for 4 250 kilogram general purpose bombs, because we do know that this is a cargo ship convoy. Go for 5 Bessies. We're going to go for all for 1 target simply because of the accuracy of bombs. However, we are going to aim at a Patapsco, and Patapscos are made of cargo explosions, so hopefully just a few hits here will do the trick. We're going to slow down because we do want to help our accuracy out a tad. I just want to make sure that we're getting a decent line here, really. We're struggling a little with the nav point there. Might want to manually aim that, but I think a slow down here. We are going to keep at a kilometre altitude there. And yeah, that's not looking too bad really. We're going to keep in the box formation. I know it's going to be a tad too wide really to hit flush here, but you can see they're trying to turn, and that's really we need to think about. We're going to tell ourselves to attack from here because we're getting very close to drop position. Get rid of the UI there so we can watch that a bit better. Do like watching a good level bombing run here. Not a guaranteed hit by any means. Torpedoes that much more successful, of course, but this will preserve our Bessies just that much better. Especially since, of course, the Patapsco looks like a Netherlands ship leading there. Don't really have any flak to speak of. A couple hits, but once again, because they're not huge bombs, it didn't hit flush in this deck area here, which is where, of course, the magazine cargo slots are concentrated. We're not getting any large hits there, so 4 successful bomb hits there, 1 dud bomb, which is rather unfortunate, and not a lot of damage, I imagine. Heavy's heavy, not quite enough, unfortunately, to get that. We can see here this was a Netherlands transport here. I do wonder if that might have been a better target, but we don't know how susceptible they are to these explosions. We do know for sure that Patapscos really do take a lot of those. It does have rather a nasty list. See the waves crashing on the deck there. It is really slowing down there. We've certainly hit the engine quite a nasty amount there. So once again, we're just going to waste around and see if that does develop at all. It does have some nasty flooding, but we can always come back. We can always come back. Well, unfortunately, that Patapsco did not sink. It's a very, very sad sight indeed. But this is the thing, this is why we go for torpedoes rather than bombs, just because, you know, it does only take a couple hits generally to sink these ships. But not to worry, it's okay. Not the largest loss, it wasn't very threatening, but we are now in a position to unload our supplies onto Hong Kong, and I think we were going to unload everything here, weren't we? Double check everything has dropped off properly, and indeed it has. You can see we've got a lot of damage on our cargo ships from our previous invasions. So our supplies to troops ratio is still not great. What I'm going to do then is actually take off some of the troops here, and we might want to move. Where do we want to move them to? It's a very good question. What can support them? Maybe Okinawa. Maybe move them over to Haiphong so they're closer. Could do. I just need some. I just want to make sure the integrity is getting up. I want the supply troop ratio to be a good 1, really. Need to take off a good old amount of troops there. See what we can do about that. Let's see what we can do about that. Let's go over here, manage cargo, and we shall take. Let's see. That should be better, shouldn't it? That's all good. So we'll take these troops away. And what we'll do is we will, I think, we have good 3,000-ish there, don't we? 3 to 4, it's about 5,000-ish. We will go all the way to Kure, I think. Just dump them off there. It's a bit easier. It doesn't matter so much about the integrity there, luckily. And we can leave them as a resource dump for later on. Should make things a tad easier to calculate in the future. Unfortunately though, guys, I know it's been a bit of a a limp video here today, but that is all I have time for today. I do apologise, trying to keep up with the Christmas schedule, to be honest. But I hope you've enjoyed it. We're getting closer. We do have those strategic gains to make, but once again the Allies really not committing to anything here. What we need to do again is just force these surface engagements here, and that's really all it is. Force surface engagements and get on the top of these cargo ships. Once we do get that, like I say, we'll be able to start rushing out some supplies. We'll have to wait a couple weeks, of course, to get those 3 times supply income. But then we should have a nice bank, good resource pool to pull from. So, until next time, I hope all of your nights and days are auspicious, and thank you very much for watching once again. Goodbye.